Thalassophobia, the fear of vast, deep bodies of water, and what might lurk within. In vanilla Minecraft, oceans may be vast, but for the most part, they are empty, with their scariest inhabitants being the drowned. However, with this mod, that's all about to change. Today I'm going to be giving you a tour of the Thalassophobia mod. It adds a ton of new sea creatures to the game, ranging from small fish to massive Leviathans. So, put on your scuba gear and let's go hunting for monsters. Our expedition starts at the ocean's edge, and looking into the water, we can see our first new creature. Scuttling along the ocean's floor is nature's most resilient creature, the crab. You can often find these creatures in small groups on the ocean floor. They are passive mobs and will not attack unless provoked. They drop crab meat on death that can be cooked and consumed. Swimming just to the side of the crabs, we can see another new creature. These are vertebrates. They are highly aggressive fish that travel in small groups. If they spot a player, they will beeline straight for them. Alone, they aren't very scary, but if a group spots you, they will tear you to pieces. As we continue our expedition, you may have noticed a large fish swimming close to shore. This is the sunfish. Sunfish are passive mobs that spend their days floating through the water, with their massive bodies. However, despite their massive size, these peaceful fish are often hunted by much larger creatures, like the shark. Sharks can be found swimming solo or in small groups. Do not be afraid to approach them, as they are peaceful. Well, as long as you aren't injured. If you ever drop below full hearts, all nearby sharks will become aggressive towards you. They have high health and deal a lot of damage, so if you're injured and spot one, stay out of the water. Sharks aren't the only predator that inhabit the shallow waters. This is the baby Colossodius. They live in shallow oceans to escape predators and to feed on smaller fish while they grow. Baby Colossodiuses are aggressive towards players, but they're quite slow and don't deal that much damage. These creatures may not be super strong now, but remember, baby Colossodiuses are a fraction of the size and power of their adult forms. As the sun sets on the first day of our expedition, you'll notice lights beginning to flicker within the sea. These are glowfish. They are peaceful creatures that'll do you no harm, but beware approaching them. Glowfish are at the bottom of the food chain, and groups of them attract other creatures who may be less friendly towards you. Like this creature here, the anglerfish. Anglerfish use the light on their head to attract prey before snatching them up. They like to hunt glowfish, but will also go after any player who swims too close to them. Another creature that hunts the glowfish is the gulper eel. These eels are super quick and will swallow any goldfish that they can find. Luckily, these guys aren't hostile to players. Well, as long as you don't provoke them. While exploring the ocean at night, there is one animal in particular you need to be aware of. Our first Leviathan class creature of this mod, the sea phantom. These massive jellyfish only spawn at night, and will hunt nearby fish and players. You'll know one is near if you hear their distinctive cry. If you are forced to fight the sea phantom, then be wary. This is one of the many creatures in this mod that inflict the shock debuff with their attacks. Shock deals damage over time for a few seconds. The sea phantom may be a Leviathan class creature, but it is on the smaller side compared to the other Leviathans, and by far the easiest hostile Leviathan to kill. If you manage to do so though, it has a chance to drop a food called natural toxin that, when consumed, instantly kills you. As far as I can find, this item has no other use, which I find to be hilarious. Continuing on our journey, we descend to the depths of the ocean. Here, we can find several new creatures that cling to the sea floor. This is the sea sludge. It is a peaceful creature that slowly moves along the bottom of the ocean. The sea sludge has a unique ability to create slime balls when fed seagrass, effectively letting you transform all of your seagrass into slime. This sea sludge needs to be careful though, as nearby rests one of its predators, the megastar. Megastars are giant starfish that reside on the ocean floor. Unlike real starfish, these creatures are highly aggressive and move surprisingly quick. Megastar's primary food source are crabs and sea sludges. However, if they sense a nearby player, they won't hesitate to attack them, as well. Be careful fighting these creatures, as they deal a lot of damage and have very high hit points. Continuing along the seafloor, we find another very peculiar creature. This bizarre creature is the Bathotrap. If you see one or more of these creatures, stay far away. This mob will create a vortex if you get too close, and pull you towards its mouth, where it'll bite you, dealing massive damage. The strength of this vortex will increase with the number of nearby Bathotraps, meaning you'll need to be extra cautious if you see groups of these creatures. If you kill a Bathotrap, it'll sink into the ground, and spit up all of the other creatures that were unfortunate enough to be caught in its vortex. Our next creature can be rather hard to spot from afar. This is the Maka Maka. It is a worm-like creature that spends its time buried in the ocean floor. If you get too close to it or attack it, it'll spring up and assume an aggressive position. Getting too close to this creature while it's in this position will result in it attacking you. If you attack the Maka Maka and deal enough damage to it, then it'll spring out of the ground and start to chase you through the water. So be prepared for it if you plan to engage with it. As the sun rises, we find ourselves in deeper water. Floating close to the surface, you may have noticed several jellyfish-like creatures. These are Nindarias. They tend to travel in groups and are hostile to players. They aren't super fast, but if they manage to cling onto you, they inflict the shock debuff, similar to the Sea Phantom. Also similar to the Sea Phantom, they drop the natural poison item when killed. Sadly, these Nindarias are about to be eaten by a much larger predator. This is an Archelon. These giant sea turtles roam the ocean, sometimes in small groups. While they may have an intimidating appearance, they are friendly to players as long as you don't attack them. Archelons hunt Nindedras and Sea Phantoms. They are quite good at this due to the fact that they are immune to these creatures' shock attacks. However, a lot of larger creatures hunt Archelons. Because of this, you can sometimes find Archelons' corpses floating on the surface, oftentimes killed by a larger predator. Getting too close to this corpse will give you the nausea debuff. If you kill an Archelon or destroy its corpse, it has a chance to drop a Scoot, giving you another way to obtain the item. While swimming in the deep ocean biomes, you may come across a weird glowing eel-like creature. This is the Electrophorus. These giant electric eels are hostile towards players and incredibly fast. They may electrify nearby water and inflict the shock debuff on anyone who is too close to them. If you manage to kill one, they have a chance to drop Iconic Scales, which can be used to craft the Shock Stab weapon and the Iconic Shield. The Shock Stab inflicts shock debuff on enemies you attack, while the Iconic Shield inflicts shock on enemies that attack you while you are blocking. You may need these new items to take on the next creature, the Reaverfish. Reaverfish are scary looking fish that have a very distinctive appearance. They are super aggressive, incredibly fast, and deal a lot of damage. There are legends of this fish growing very big. However, no one is quite sure how big they can grow. For the final part of our expedition, we'll be searching for the largest creatures of this mod, the Leviathan class monsters. Before we begin, let me tell you a little bit more about them. Most Leviathan class creatures are found exclusively in deep ocean biomes and are incredibly rare. To locate them, you can need to use a Leviathan sensor, which highlights any nearby creatures in this class. You can often hear them from a distance due to the loud noises that they make. These massive beasts have a chance to drop pearls, a rare crafting material in this mod, and occasionally they'll even drop the rare black pearl. So, let's go and track down the biggest and deadliest creatures this mod has to offer. The first of our Leviathan class creatures is the famous ancestor of the shark, the Megalodon. These massive fish are super aggressive and hunt a variety of larger fish as well as players. It's important to note that unlike its cousins, Megalodons will always be aggressive towards you, regardless if your health is full or not. If you decide to engage this monster, be aware that it has a lot of hit points, is very fast, and deals a lot of damage. My best advice to get away from the Megalodon is to try to get to land or find an underwater cave, with a narrow entrance where this creature can't fit. The second Leviathan class creature we'll be taking a look at today is much older than the Megalodon. This is the Dunkleosteus. This fish is known for its massive armored head, and due to this, it has a lot of resistance, making it very hard to kill. While the Dunkleosteus deals a lot of damage, you might want to consider fighting it if you find one. The reason being is because it drops an incredibly important resource, the sonar organ, which we'll talk about a little later. Even if you want to kill a Dunkleosteus for a sonar organ, you still need to be prepared to fight it, as this thing has absurdly fast attack speed, allowing it to deal massive damage in a very short time period. The third Leviathan class creature is the Plesiosaur. This creature is one of the only Leviathan class mobs that spawn in groups. Like the first two Leviathan class creatures, the Plesiosaur is aggressive towards players. You can fight off a Plesiosaur with proper spacing in survival. However, if a group of them descend upon you, then your best chance of survival is fleeing. While you're exploring the ocean, at some point you will probably hear these strange noises echoing throughout the depths. These are Riffheads, our fourth Leviathan class creature. Riffheads can spawn alone, or in small groups. They are mostly known for their distinctive cries that can be heard from long distances underwater. Riffheads are graceful giants, and are peaceful to not just players, but also all other mobs. They spend their days drifting through the ocean and spreading their graceful song. It is a nice treat to find them, as they are the only peaceful Leviathan class creature. While all the Leviathan class creatures we have looked at so far have been dangerous, they are nothing compared to the next Leviathan. This is the Mosasaur. It is massive and extremely aggressive, not just towards players, but also towards all larger fish that aren't Leviathans. If you ever encounter one, the best thing to do, as with all other Leviathans, is hide. However, fighting the Mosasaur is not without its rewards, as it has a high chance to drop black pearls when killed. However, killing the Mosasaur is easier said than done, as it not only deals a lot of damage, but also has a whopping 250 hit points, making it extremely tanky. For centuries, sailors have had myths and legends about the Kraken, a legendary squid that destroys boats and drags sailors to their watery graves. While you may have heard of the Kraken, you most likely haven't heard of this next Kraken-like creature. This is the Toothotoothes. The Toothotoothes is a massive squid that is highly aggressive to both fish and players. It'll even attack other Leviathan class creatures. Like the Mosasaur, this creature has very high health, and a high chance to drop black pearls. If you attack this creature, it'll spray you with ink, inflicting the blindness debuff. After disorienting you, it'll quickly finish you off with its attacks. While the Toothotoothes is aggressive towards players, you are not its biggest rival within the sea. That honor belongs to the adult Colossodius, the grown-up version of the baby Colossodius from earlier in our expedition. If these two Leviathans ever meet, a massive battle between them will break out, with the Colossodius usually being the winner. Let's take a closer look at our 7th Leviathan class creature, the Colossodius. The Colossodius is a massive whale-like creature that is one of the most deadly mobs added in this mod. It has an impressive 600 hit points and deals massive damage with each bite of its melee attack. However, this creature also has a ranged sonic attack that is fairly similar to the Warden Sonic Boom, and deals a lot of damage. You can often hear this creature from quite a distance away, as it makes very distinctive noises. Like the Dunkleosteus, the Colossodius drops the sonar organ. I think it's time we talk about the sonar organ, as it is a very important item. It allows you to craft two very important items. First is the Echo Shell. This item works like a Leviathan sensor, but it has the added benefit of sensing all nearby entities that are within the water when used, instead of just Leviathans. The second item the sonar organ allows you to craft is the sonar beacon. When you submerge this item in water and activate it using redstone, it'll release a massive shockwave that'll deal 100 damage to all nearby monsters within the water. This item is key to killing the Leviathans of this mod, especially the last Leviathan of our expedition, the Alpha Reaverfish. Like the Colossodius, you can hear the Alpha Reaverfish from quite a distance away. It is the largest mob in this mod, and by far the most dangerous. If it ever finds you, good luck. You are going to need it because fighting this monstrosity is very challenging without the sonar beacon, as it's fast and deals a lot of damage. However, if you manage to slay it, you'll be rewarded with an Alpha Fang sword, a weapon that deals 9 damage and heals the user each time it hits an enemy. This creature is terrifying. While playing with this mod, one managed to sneak up on me and it gave me the biggest fright I have ever had in a long time playing Minecraft, which, in my opinion, makes it a great addition to the game. As of making this video, the Alpha Reaverfish is the top of the food chain in the Thalassophobia mod, but who knows what'll come in the future. As the saying goes, there is always the bigger fish. With the Alpha Reaverfish documented, our expedition comes to a close. While we've discovered many fascinating creatures here today, there are plenty that we still haven't encountered. This mod adds a wide variety of smaller creatures that we didn't find, but I'll leave those for you to discover on your own. I've really enjoyed this mod. The creatures it adds look incredible, and I love how they interact with each other to create a living underwater ecosystem. The sound design is also outstanding. It brings so much life to the world and really enhances the emotions of encountering these creatures. The only thing I would like to change from this mod in the future is some adjustments to the hitboxes of the larger creatures, as they can be a bit difficult to hit in their current form. Overall though, big props to this mod developer, Zcoper, as I think this mod is absolutely incredible, and I am really looking forward to seeing its updates in the future. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more videos like it in the future, feel free to like and subscribe. You can find this mod's link in the description, as well as the Deeper Oceans mod, which I used for this video and is recommended to add a better atmosphere by the Thalassophobia's very own mod creator. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.